Morning, guys. It's sunny today, but man, I'm thankful for cooler weather today because it is dropped a lot than what it has the last couple weeks, so it feels amazing. So let me know what you're thankful for today. So the one thing that I'm working on today is thinking about this, kind of planning ahead. But because of the brick here, we got this big offset here. So I think what we're going to end up doing so that there's not like this weird offset, because we could do a flashing piece that goes here to cap this, but it would have this big offset. I think we're going to do LP Smart Side or something like lap siding on this eventually. But I think what I'm going to do is actually fur this wall out to make so that it's not a big offset here. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about a little bit. Well, it's been so busy around here, I haven't had much time to do some documenting, so I need to catch up a little bit. I think I mentioned I had rented this lift for the week because it's about the same price usually when you get it for 3 or 4 days versus a week. But so I'm trying to utilize it the best I can here while I have it. So just for a platform and things. But I was going to show you a little bit something here. Give you the update on this little wall I got framed out upstairs. What we decided to do is get this end wall framed out. And we decided on a window size. So what I did is I did it out of 2x8 because I'll show you in a little bit here. But we got this big offset down here. What I did is, I'm going to show it from the top here, but I did this treated plate down here with some sill sealer underneath it, and I Tapconned it all into place there. I used a laser and set it up and shot this whole end wall, and I got a bunch of marks up there with crow's foot, if you can see. But the only way that I could see to do it is to frame this middle part first with a 2x8 wall, and then shove it out so that when it's all done, it's going to be framed even with that. I decided that it would look better if it was all furred out. So it's going to be a little bit more time and material, but I think it's going to make a better product when it's all done. So being that I did 2x8 wall, I didn't want to get carried away with more framing than necessary. So I did 2-foot centers because everything's 2 foot up here already. And it's less thermal bridging and it's more room for insulation. And this is not load bearing at all. So I think that's going to be sufficient to do 2-foot spacing and 2x8 walls. So that is what I'm figuring out on this side, and then going to do the other side. Now this, I know these end walls aren't perfect, but now this is going to kind of take care of that because I got this plate here, and this is where my sheeting is going to be final, where I made these marks all the way out. So I had to hold this back a 1/2 inch because I'm going to do 1/2 inch sheeting. And so all the marks that I did up there. Now these overhangs are going to be a little wonky because the whole building is out of square, but I can hopefully fudge that and make it look better when it's all done. So I'm also kind of thinking about this. I might end up having to, when I frame this up, I might almost have to insulate this from the outside before I sheet this because there's no getting in here later, I don't think. It would be hard to anyway. So this cavity right here might have to get it insulated. So that's interesting detail. Now the only thing with this wall being like it is, where I had to shoot it out so far, that's why I used a 2x8 wall, because it's going to be about 4 inches, roughly a 2x4 with a little gap. But with doing that, it makes it a little funny where I got a little space above it, but I don't have to go super high because of the soffit, so I'm hoping I can just put something up there flat and extend that top plate. But it's going to be a little figuring things out here to figure out how this is all going to come together, because I got basically that center section. So I got a little bit up above on the peak to deal with and a little bit down here. But I think it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. All right, so busy couple of days. I had to take advantage of the lift being here. So I got this whole end sheeted here. I closed in the window permanently for now. So that worked out really good with lining up with that treated bottom plate there to flush out with the brick, or it's actually set back a 1/2 inch, but just a little bit for the lap siding. So that worked out really good. And same for the other end. I got just a little triangle piece up there in the soffit to do, but otherwise got that all wrapped up yesterday. So had to get that all framed out. I just run it wild up in there for now because it's going to get all covered by soffit. This is the closest corner. You can kind of see there my little wall. So that took care of all the imperfections in that end. Today we got to figure out kind of what we're doing for the porches here. Probably going to put up some temporary supports to visualize it, but I'll take you upstairs quick. So upstairs on this end, I got this all closed in from the inside, you can see. So what I did while I had the opportunity, this is kind of a unique situation. I wish I would have had more of it, but I ended up insulating all along that rim on the outside. And here where I can never get to it, I insulated all that cavity as well. But I had enough to put some in down there because I figured that's going to be hard to get to later. But later what I could do from the inside is I could either put some in here. It's pretty accessible besides that cross brace there, but I think I can get some in. And I might end up even putting some rigid insulation up there to run all the way up on the outside wall, on the inside of the outside wall. So we'll see, but while I was at it, I also put a little bit up in there because that's just extra space that I can get to, because the other insulation will probably take care of that, but I figured while I'm at it, I'm gonna do that. So I did it on both. But yeah, that feels really good to have this done for shear. Got it all nailed off really well. For shear strength and bracing and everything, and just getting it close to the weather. See, I think the next thing really is to get the porches figured out outside there. So I'm gonna try to work on that. That's gonna be the next thing, because we have to get the porches done in order to get the roof framed completely, in order to get the metal on to get it enclosed from the weather. So anyway, so it's still a process, but we're getting there. All right, thanks for watching, guys.